Good evening and welcome to our program. I'm your host, Nicole Hales. This evening, we will break down the first national debate and continue to look at the candidates who are contesting the upcoming general election. Joining me in the discussion are political analyst and acting director for institutional research at Northern Caribbean University, Paul Bourne, and People's National Party candidate for St. James East Central, Michael Hemmings. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us.
Good evening and good evening to our listeners.
Last night's debate saw the JLP team having Floyd Green, Kamina Johnson-Smith, and Dr. Christopher Tufton battling against Team PNP, Lisa Hanna, Raymond Price, and Dr. Dayton Campbell. Paul, the team selection, were they the best selection in your opinion to tackle these issues, and did they accomplish just that?
I think both team was well represented, and I like the presentation and how the teams argued their point. Was it the best team? I would say no, because I would have liked some other persons on the team. However, they represented the party well.
The Andrew Holness-led administration implemented states of emergencies to combat crime. Kamina Johnson-Smith expressed that the SOEs have worked. However, Raymond Price disagrees and proposes that the PNP will invest in intelligence policing to address crime. Paul, did the JLP in their response defend the reasoning behind the implementation of the SOEs in your opinion? And like the PNP proposed, do you believe in intelligence policing would be more effective in controlling crime?
I agree with both perspectives that was given. However, I really want to say something to the People's National Party and by extension Jamaicans. I have examined the issue from a scientific perspective in terms of data. And the SOE is working or has worked in terms of data. However, the PNP presented a good idea, a good perspective in the sense that we need to go into intelligence gathering, all of that. And I also agree. But I just wanted to clarify that the SOE based on statistics is actually work or had work.
Mr. Hemmings, want to bring you into the discussion. Team PNP going up against Team JLP on social issues. How would you rate the teams?
Well, let me say that for Team PNP, we are fresh. We have fresh minds and new ideas coming forward, and that was exhibited yesterday in the debate. And I'd also say that the JLP team also had good opponents, but I would give the edge to the People's National Party as it relates to how our points were brought forward and how they were articulated based on responses that we gave, based on pointed questions that were posed to us. TPMP stood firm, and we stand by our manifesto, and we stand by our policies, and we stand by the fact that the People's National Party is indeed the party to rescue Jamaica, land we love, and ensure that we go back on the right track that we were on before we demitted office in the last general election.
Paul, in your opinion, who was the best speaker and which team made their party proud in last night's debate and was convincing enough, especially to the undecided voters?
For Team PNP, I gave Raymond Price. For Team JLP, I gave Green, who I thought the winner was the Jamaica Labour Party. I gave the Jamaica Labour Party, in terms of looking at the number of questions, 6-5, and I score 1 in terms of even. And how I actually examined the issue were from a number of perspectives, based on facts, based on vision, presentation, knowledge of issue, and clarifications that emerged from there. I thought the worst person in terms of presentation was Dr. Campbell. He made light of mental health issue, and I thought that was poor of him. I think Raymond Price articulated extremely well, and I would have given him the speaker for the day if it were a debate. Nevertheless, the PNP should be proud of the person that they have actually chosen, which, of course, as I said before, I would have made modification, and my modification would come in the form of Dr. Campbell. I would have used somebody else.
But Mr. Hemmings, let's bring you in shortly. This is your first time running as Member of Parliament. Why should persons choose you come September 3, and why are you entering representational politics at this time for the People's National Party?
Well, I am a native of East Central St. James. I am from Somerton District, which is a part of East Central St. James. And at the age of 30, I decided to enter representational politics based on certain things that I saw happening in my community. And by extension, I want to serve the people of East Central St. James. My vision for East Central St. James is surrounding youth empowerment, community development, and how best we can make what we have in East Central work for us. So I share quickly two of my visions in East Central St. James. Most of East Central St. James is rural. We have two rural divisions, Springmount and the Somerton division. And let's take the Springmount division. If you live in the Springmount division, the nearest hospital that you can go is the Corner Regional Hospital. And depending on where you're living in Springmount, the nearest hospital is 1 hour away. Now, my vision for East Central St. James is that every health center that is within East Central St. James should be open on a 12-hour rotation shift where a doctor is present at all times. So, for example, when I visited the Lottery area, a young man who I knew very well fell off a bike and was seriously injured. And it was said that if it is that he had gotten attention quicker, then he would have been in a better state than he is now, as he is bedridden. We graduate a number of doctors from the university every year. This also gives an opportunity for a young doctor coming out of university to know that I can go to one of those centers and I can get some work. As it relates to medication and administering of medication to persons, this would also take some of the burden from the hospital, because someone can know that I can leave my house and I can go to a health center that is 10 minutes or 5 minutes away from me and I can get the attention that I need. A lot of times we can't get the attention at the hospital, and I think that is a good idea and something that can work within East Central St. James and within the rural parts of Jamaica as well. Most of the health centers are closed, are not operating up to optimum. And I think that is something that worth looking at. And that is the form of development that I would want to see in East Central St. James. In East Central St. James, I don't think we should be campaigning on road and water today in 2020, because those are essentials. I can say to you that I live in East Central St. James and we are currently buying water for the last 7 years. It was not until the election has been announced, I'm told that 2 pumps are now on the island and are to be installed and we'll be getting water soon. Why did we not get it before? It was only a month and a half ago that the roads in my area are now being attended to. I give you this example because in a community known as Bullock Heights, which is a scheme in the Somerton division, a road is being fixed, and the councillor caretaker candidate who lives in Somerton for the Rosal division, his road was excluded from being fixed. That is the only lane over the scheme that was not attended to. And that type of politics we're saying no to in 2020. Politics does not rest with a particular household where you give somebody something and say distribute based on who is a JLP or a PMP. That's not the type of development that I want to see for East Central St. James. And when I look into East Central St. James as a youngster at the age of 30, I see no development for persons my age where they can say, yes, I'm proud to be a young man living in East Central St. James. So I decided that as a young man, I decided to be the voice for the youngsters, because all of us can't sit in Gordon House. But if you have one voice that can advocate for you and for your rights, then that voice ought to be my voice. The current member of parliament has been there for some time now, since 2002. Now is the time for a fresh mind with new ideas so that we can go forward in developing East Central St. James. We have had a lot of promises. For example, in 2002, we were told that Adelphi is going to be a city. Adelphi is still not a city. In 2016, we were told that $600 million was going to be spent to give us water across all 3 divisions. We still do not have water in most of the divisions. You see, East Central St. James does not only rest in Barrett Hall.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Hemmings. We went on the streets and spoke with persons, asking them about last night's national debate. We wanted to know who they thought did a good job in addressing the issues. Here's what they had to say.
I think that the People's National Party won the debate last night. I think they came with all their facts together. I also think that they delivered and they reminded the people what they were about and what they can do in the next government. I believe that the PMP answered all the questions correctly and on point. The other side, I believe that they go around the questions, and I believe that they came to the debate, in a political campaign way, not with any facts.
The debate last night I really think JLP has taken it because them bring for the issue where the country really want to hear. The things them that them do and the things them that they are about to do to improve the country and to make Jamaica have a better life. So I think JLP has bring across the point them when them have to bring across real good. So I think them win the debate. I think probably on the next debate, probably then we expand more of the issue, but I think I'm comfortable, especially the part where them say the housing with the under 35, no deposit, you pay no deposit, that make house more accessible to people because, especially young people.
Mr. Hemmings, going back to you, quickly tell us what are some of the plans you have for the constituency?
Centered around youngsters and youths. So, for example, the community centers, most of them are closed, and some areas we don't have a community center. Now, the community centers ought to be a epicenter where persons can go and they know that they can acquire a skill. So my idea for my community centers and an idea for the PMP is that all community centers must be an internet hotspot. But I go further for East Central St. James, because not only should it be an internet hotspot area, but online classes should be offered for free. So for example, we could partner with the Heart Trust, where online classes can be offered for free, and a person who wants to be certified can then pay for the certification. But a youngster can know that I can get up every day and I can go to a center and there will be an online class where I can learn something or I can obtain a skill, and then I'll know that it will be beneficial to me. Now, for me, another idea that I have for East Central St. James is that, as it relates to my campaign song, I use 2 individuals from my constituency to make that song. And I could have asked any popular artist to do it, but I saw it fit to use somebody from my constituency. Now, when I walk the constituency, a lot of youngsters in there, they want to turn to music because they find music as an alternative outside of poverty. And not everybody will make it, but what I will say is that if a recording studio can be placed in every community center, a youngster can go there and try. But I will go further with that idea because dancehall has done a lot for Jamaica. So we can use that idea to form part of our tourism income earning factor. So a tourist can go to our center and observe and watch how we make our music. And when that is done, that can be a source of income for the youngsters within the area, because we need to empower the youth within East Central St. James. I say this when I'm on the campaign trail. Poverty leads to frustration, frustration leads to anger, anger leads to a violent person will commit crime. And until we can empower our youth, until we can empower the young men within our society, we're going to have a problem. What they want is an opportunity to do well. And I say in my campaign, easy entrance. And when I say easy entrance, I'm not showing off. We're saying that if a youngster applies for a job, it should be easy. When I say easy entrance, if you go for a small business loan, it should be easy. When I say easy entrance, if you're a contract worker, that should be a thing of the past and you should become an employee. Because we watch our mothers, we watch our aunts, we watch our sisters. They go to work every day in the hotel sector as a security guard, in the BPO sector, and they're called contract workers and they have no benefit. All we want in East Central St. James is an easier life. We want opportunities, and that is what I'm here to create, opportunities for the persons in East Central St. James. Now is the time that we must say, as a citizen of East Central St. James, as a resident, that we are seeing holistic development for everyone and not a particular person. I give you a very disheartening,
I have to bring Paul in, Mr. Hemmings. Paul?
But what I can say I'm proud of here is Mr. Hemmings in terms of his enthusiasm and his vigor. And what I love as well is the fact that he's actually from the area. But I do not think at this moment and coming September 3 he'll actually win. But what I do know is that I would actually want to see Mr. Hemmings and such persons actually come forward and represent youth and thereafter politics in Jamaica. This is a good sign.
Mr. Hemmings is going up against a JLP heavyweight, Mr. Edmund Bartlett. Your assessment of that?
That's what I'm saying. I do not see Mr. Hemmings here winning. I think it will be a situation where I'm actually going, maybe the first time I actually say this on air, I think it here will be about between 600 to say a 700 vote difference between the two, and I'm giving Mr. Bartlett this one. However, Mr. Hemmings, I'm actually proud of you, and I think this is where Jamaica ought to be going. And even though you may not win, I'm saying press on, because there is opportunity coming your way.
Well,
Quick
what I will
closing
say, Paul,
arguments for
thank
you,
you for
Mr.
your
Hemmings.
encouragement,
30
but we are in
seconds.
it to win it. We have the support of the people behind me. When I go on the street and I speak with the youngsters, they are enthused that a youngster is here to represent them. As an attorney at law, I represent people for a living, so representing my constituency will be no different. Persons have written off East Central St. James for the People's National Party, but we have a surprise coming. It's going to be an upset. We are here to fight for the people of East Central St. James. I will continue to fight for the people of East Central St. James. This is my home. I'm on Barnia. I'm on Livia.
Finally, Paul, tomorrow's debate will have opposition spokesman on finance, Mark Golding, going up against the current Minister of Finance and Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark of the JLP. Who do you think will take this one?
Well, if you look at elements of a debate, as I outlined before, in terms of facts, vision, presentation, knowledge, and clarification of issues, clearly Mr. Golden is a speaker in comparison to Mr. Clark. And I do not see Mr. Golden not winning this one. He has all the attributes of a good debater. And therefore, I'm looking for some nice fireworks, some presentation of issues, visions, all of that tomorrow, unlike maybe what happened yesterday.
All right, thank you very much. Thanks very much, gentlemen. With us this evening, we had political analyst and acting director of institutional research at the Northern Caribbean University, Paul Board, and the People's National Party candidate for St. James East Central, Michael Hemmings. Join us tomorrow evening for live coverage of the national debate at 9 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., where representatives from both political parties will be debating the finance and the economy. We'll also have a panel discussion immediately following the debate to analyze what was addressed. I'm your host, Nicole Hales. Thanks for watching.